Hi guys, this is Chiquita Robertson, and as you all know, we're in the month of Jumpstart June. This week, we're talking about all things fitness, and today is Wellness Wednesday. I want to focus on sharing with you all a quick kind of testimonial, little story of how I lost 20 pounds in 21 days. And I know you all may think that's clickbait, but it really actually happened. It was not intentional, but it's something that's happened. Now, if you've been watching some of my other videos, you hear me talking about spiritual fasting. Now, on last year, the early part of 2024, my husband and I went on a fast. Now, I know most of you, if you've been watching any of my videos, you know that fasting, spiritual fast, is something that both my husband and I do from time to time, especially at the very beginning of the year. We kick off the year with a spiritual fast, really unto the Lord. There's things that we petition the Lord. We come into agreement with what we're going to be fasting about and what we're believing God for the year. And so we typically go on a 21-day fast at the start of the year. Sometimes we may have to change it up depending on our schedules, if we're traveling or something like that. But we're very intentional about going on fast at the beginning of the year. In 2024, we went on a 21-day fast, and I felt like God was challenging me to do something different. And so both my husband and I, we come up with an agreement on this is what the fast is going to look like. This is what we're believing God for. We may say, hey, we're not going to eat anything after 3 or after 5 or after 6, or if we're not going to eat anything at all. Well, on this particular fast, I felt in my heart that God was leading me to go a certain number of days without eating anything. And so this is how I ended up losing 20 pounds in 21 days. And I basically did it in 3 parts, the fast. There were 7 days, and they weren't all consecutive, but there were 7 days where I ate absolutely no food. The initial, maybe there were 4 to 5 days at the beginning of the fast where I actually ate no food. I was thinking about doing the full 7 days consecutively, but I ended up breaking it up just a little. I did about 4 or 5 days consecutively, and then I did the other few days the following week. So I did 7 days of absolutely no food, and then I did 7 days of only raw fruits and vegetables. Yes, there were no seasonings on them. It was raw fruits and vegetables. And I had to become very creative in how I did it. But at the same time, I did not eat anything until after a certain time of the day. It may have been after 3 p.m. So while we were on the fast, on the days we didn't eat anything, we just didn't eat anything. But on the days that we did eat, it was still after a certain time of the day. And I think let me just say, maybe it was 3 p.m. We could eat anything after that. Most of the time, because of our schedules, it was probably even later than that. I'm gonna be honest, probably some nights I wasn't eating until after 8 or 9 o'clock at night. But raw fruits and vegetables, that's what I felt like God was leading me to do. And then the other 7 days of the fast was cooked veggies. So I was able to cook vegetables. I did not use any specific seasonings. The most that I used as far as seasonings to maybe add a little flavor to it were basically onions, sauteing some onions with my veggies. Of course, you can cook your fruit if you want to, but mostly it consisted of me cooking my veggies. So that's how I lost so much weight. But there was one other key thing that I have not mentioned that probably expedited it even more. And it was the fact that even when my husband and I go on fast, we still work out. Yes, I was still working out, not necessarily to the intensity that I typically work out, because as I mentioned, there were some days where we were not eating anything at all, but it was still important for me to continue to work out. And so I know this may be something where most people are like, I can't do that. But you never know what you can do when you purpose in your mind that you're going to do something. Of course, if needed, make sure that you speak with a healthcare professional. If you're not working out already and you decide to say, I'm going to go on a fast and I'm going to work out, that may be a little bit too much. My husband and I were already in the groove, in the routine of consistent workouts. That's a lifestyle for us. It has been for many years now. So more so than anything, it's the fast. That was more of the difference in what our schedule was. And so I want to encourage you all that if you want to jumpstart your health, go on a spiritual fast and ask God for wisdom as it relates to your health. And if you want to jumpstart your physical fitness, a great way to do that would be to go on a fast. It's definitely a way that you can lose some weight. Of course, when you start back eating, you'll probably be bringing it back on. But at the same time, going on a spiritual fast, it brings about clarity, it brings about direction. And let me tell you something, the one thing it does for me, and I know it will do for you, it will heighten your spiritual senses. And that's more important than anything. Now, the weight loss was not intentional. It ended up being a byproduct of me going on a spiritual fast, which was the priority at that time. But I wanted to share with you how I lost 20 pounds in 21 days. All right, guys, I hope this video has been a blessing to someone and maybe inspired you to do some things differently. And until next time, you all be blessed.